Right, hello everyone and welcome to this new video on the channel. So today we're going to be reacting to my League 2 predictions that I made before the start of the 24-25 season. So let's get into it. So if you've seen any of my prediction videos before, you'll know I use a scoring system to see how I've done. So as you can see on the screen, we have got the table 1 to 24. So we've got position on the left, and then we have got the team, and then we've got the actual position on the column to the right of that, and then column to the right of that is the points difference. So that is the difference in positions to where I predicted them. So for example, if I picked a team to finish bottom and they did finish bottom, I'll get 0 points. But if I predicted a team to finish bottom and they finished in 21st, I'll get 3 points, because that's the amount of places difference between the two. So yeah, that's how we're going to score it. So the aim is to get the least amount of points possible. So if you made some predictions, use this scoring system as well, and let me know how you did in the comments, and we'll compare our scores. But anyway, let's see how I did. So let's start off with the two teams that I had in the relegation zone then. So looking at it, we've made a pretty good start. In 24th place, I predicted Morecambe, who did finish in 24th, so no points for me there. And then in 23rd, I had Accrington Stanley, who finished 2 places higher in 21st. So I'll take that for relegation. To be fair, I thought it were going to be 2 teams from 3 at the start of the season. I'll come on to the third team in a second, but yeah, Morecambe, it's been a very, very tough season for him. I saw him at the start. I saw Morecambe and Accrington, the first 2 home games for Rovers, and I thought if we play 2 worse teams than this, I'll be very surprised. But hence, another team did drop into the bottom 2, which I will get onto pretty late in the video, to be fair. But yeah, for Morecambe, it was always going to be tough with all troubles we've had behind the scenes, and unfortunately, you know, they didn't have enough to survive in the end, whereas Accrington did. They did pretty well to survive. I thought they'd really struggle, especially first full season without John Coleman, but yeah, you know, they proved a few people, including me, wrong, and survived in the end. So let's move on to the 5 teams above the relegation zone then. So a very mixed bag of results here, as you can see. So in 22nd place, I predicted Newport County, who did finish in 22nd. So a spot on score there, 0 points for me. However, Colchester have cost me quite a few points. I predicted them in 21st, and they finished in 10th, so that's 11 points on the board. In 20th, I predicted Harrogate Town, who ended up finishing in 18th, so 2 points for me there. And then the newcomers, Bromley, I had in 19th, however, they finished in 11th, so that gains me 8 points. And finally, in 18th place, I had Grimsby Town, who, yeah, they finished in 9th, so another 9 points for me. Newport, got them spot on. I thought between, you know, them, Accrington and Morecambe through went down. I thought it'd be, you know, 2 from 3, and yeah, they've kind of never really looked in trouble. They fell off badly at the end of the season and did finish in 22nd, but they kind of had enough of a gap to, you know, not worry too much about relegation. But yeah, you know, they did drop off at the end of the season and finish just outside of the drop zone. Whereas Colchester, to be fair, I don't think I'm the only one who predicts them to, you know, be down here, especially after last season just surviving. But you know, full season on Danny Cowley of the Cowley brothers, they've you know, really got them into good shape and looked a very good team. When we played them away from home, we were in good form when we played them at home and beaten quite comfortably. But yeah, very unlucky to miss out on the playoffs in at the end. And then Harrogate, you know, 2 points off. That's kind of where I expected them to finish, you know, around 18 to 20 mark. You know, the kind of been punched above weight for a while, and they've done well to stay in the division for as long as they have. Bromley, I thought they'd survive pretty comfortably, and they've done more than that, to be fair, finishing in the top half. So it's been an excellent season for Bromley. When we played them, like I said, we had all possession, all the shots, everything, but we just couldn't score against them, and they had 2 1-0 wins against us. So, you know, fair play with you know, Michael Cheek's got the goals for him, and you know, they've done really well to stay in the division. And as for Grimsby, I always predict him to do pretty well, and they always end up, you know, down near the bottom. So I actually did predict him to be near the bottom, and they've nearly made the playoffs. So yeah, just one of them teams I can never predict right. But you know, I really wanted them to make the playoffs. I'm going to miss Grimsby away next season. It's been a fantastic season. David Artell has done a fantastic job at Grimsby, so it's going to be interesting next year to see if I can keep that up. Moving on to the rest of the bottom half. In 17th place, I predicted Barrow, who finished in 16th, so just a point for me there. And then in 16th place, I predicted Fleetwood Town. They ended up finishing in 14th, so that is another 2 points for me. Swindon I predicted in 15th and they ended up finishing in 12th, so just a 3 points for me there. In 14th, I predicted Salford City, who just finished outside the playoffs in 8th, so about 6 points for me there. And then in 13th, I had Tranmere Rovers, who finished down in 20th, so that is another 7 points for me. So let's start with Barrow. Very unlucky to miss out on playoffs last season. Pete Wild obviously left. I thought it would fall down the table a bit compared to where they were last season, and they did, falling down to 16th place. And then Fleetwood, very hard to predict, coming down from League One last season. I thought they might struggle a bit. I thought after last year, obviously, chairman getting sent to prison and stuff like that, that were going to affect them. I thought they'd maybe struggle in League Two, but I put a bit higher than probably 4, and it's a good job I did because, they did better than I thought they would. And Swindon, another team, like I say, a lot had them going down, and they did look in a lot of trouble at one point, but Ian Holloway, to be fair, has done a fantastic job of, getting them out of trouble, and they actually finished in the top half, which, at the start of the season, when you look back at it, is an absolutely incredible achievement. Salford, I thought they'd be around mid-table. I thought they'd have a stronger season than they did the year before, but not anywhere near the playoffs. But, they did really well to get up to the playoff places, and just missed out on the final day. It's going to be interesting how they do, like I say, with Beckham and Neville taking full control off of the 92, and so that's going to be one to look out for how they'll do in the 25-26 season. And finally, in the bottom half, got Tranmere Rovers. They started all right, but you could see them just slowly slipping down the table, and very, very fortunate not to, end up in the bottom 2. They sacked Atkins at the right time, in my opinion. They did pick up after that. But yeah, it'd have been a shame to lose Tranmere to the, to non-league. They'd lost a big club who's coming up soon. But a pretty poor season. But, I think they'll improve next year and they'll climb up the table a bit. Moving into the top half then, in 12th place, I went for Crewe Alexandra, who finished in 13th place. So that is a point on the board for me. And then in 11th, I went with Cheltenham Town. They finished in 15th place, so that is 4 points to myself. And then in 10th place, I went for AFC Wimbledon, who finished up in 5th, so that is another 5 points added to my total. Crewe were a very hard one to predict. I didn't think they'd do as well as last year, as they got to the playoff final, beating a team in the semi-final, but I'm not too sure who that was, to be fair, before losing to Crawley in the final. I didn't think they'd reach playoffs this year. I thought they'd slip back down a bit, but we're looking like they were on fringe at playoffs for a while, but then we just dropped off towards the end of the season and ended up finishing in the bottom half. And then Cheltenham, hard to predict. Like I say, it's really hard to predict how the teams coming down from League One will do. It's a tough ask, when you come down to try and get straight back up. And they were kind of around top at bottom half for most of the season. Fair, never really looking like we're going to push for playoffs, but never in any danger of going down. So not a lot to play for pretty much all the season for Cheltenham. And then Wimbledon had a very, very good season. Pretty much in the playoffs for the whole of the season and kind of flirting with the top 3 as well. We've obviously made the playoff final. I'm recording this on the Wednesday. So, we've got Warsaw that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're doing that. But, very, very solid season. Very good defensive season for Wimbledon. Like I say, I think the keeper's kept about 20 clean sheets this season. And, least goals conceded. A very good home record as well. So, deservedly in the playoffs for Wimbledon. Next, we've got the teams I thought had finished just outside of the playoffs, and they both had very good seasons indeed. So in 9th place, I went for Warsaw, who of course ended up finishing in 4th, and then in 8th, I went for Bradford, who got an automatic promotion spot in 3rd. So 5 points apiece for both of these teams. I actually said with Warsaw, I think they'll do a lot better than other people thought, but they did even better than I thought, to be honest with you. I thought they were just outside the playoffs, but they were top of the league for pretty much, well, at least probably about half the season, and then, they have that awful run towards the end of the season, and it just fell out of the automatic promotion spots. But they look like they've picked it up. They won the last game of the season. They've done really well in the playoffs against Chesterfield, and, they're coming up against Wimbledon, looking very, very strong. And as for Bradford, a very, very good season for him. They always seem to just not be able to get over the line, a lot of frustration with the fans and, the club in general, because, we are the biggest club by a long way in this division. We feel like, they should be out of this league, and they've just missed out on playoffs last season. They've struggled down in League Two, to be honest with you, and I just thought that'd be the same again. I thought it'd be a lot of frustration and just not being able to go over that line, but they've finally done it, and fair play to them. They deserve to be in League One, so it's good. It's going to be good to see him playing at League One football next season. Let's move into the playoffs then, and we have got some stinks in here. It's a mixture of results in here, but some absolute stinkers coming up. So in 7th place, I went for Notts County, who finished in 6th, just a point for me there. And then here is the big hitter. 6th place, I put Carlisle United, and of course we finished in 23rd, and I've been relegated to the National League, so that is 17 points added to my total. 5th place, I went for Gillingham. They finished down in 17th, so that is 12 points added. These playoffs are absolutely killing me here. And then in 4th place, I went for Port Vale, and they got automatically promoted in 2nd place, so just for 2 points added to my total for that one. Notts County, I thought they missed out on playoffs last year. I thought they'd do it this year. I thought it'd be close between them and Bradford, and in the end, they got a playoff place pretty comfortably in the end. However, Carlisle, I don't think anyone expected this. I say it's a stinker. I think pretty much everyone, or, I've had a stinker with this one, to be fair. I thought, they'd have a decent season. We've got a good squad for League Two, but just weren't the case. Just never worked out. Under Mike Williamson, it was just a horror show. And Mark Hughes has come in. They were looking better. They gave themselves a fighting chance, but in the end, it was just a little, too little, too late for him. And they have gone down to the National League, which is a shame. A big club, Carlisle, and, I do like the club as well. So it's going to be a shame for them to go into non-league, but hopefully they can bounce back and come back strong. But, it's going to be tough in that division for him. And then 5th place, I went for Gillingham. We ended up finishing in 17th, but we did finish the season very strong under Gareth Ainsworth. We had not the best of seasons at all. We started all right, but then it just dropped off completely. And, had a strong end to the season, so I'm looking to build on that. And I think they'll do well under Ainsworth, to be fair. And I do think they'll be up around the playoffs next season, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on them. And then Port Vale, a lot of people's league favourites, they end up finishing in 2nd place. Very good season for Port Vale. Darren Moore, like I say, he knows how to get promoted, and he's done a fantastic job with a fantastic squad as well. So they're going to go straight back up on the first attempt to League One. So congratulations to Port Vale. Okay, let's go to the automatic promotion spots next. So you thought of Carlisle with the only absolutely huge stinker. Well, you're wrong. And I think a lot of other people have had this as well. In 3rd place, I went for MK Dons, who finished down in 19th position, which had 16 points to my total. And then in 2nd place, I went for Chesterfield, who finished in 7th. So that's 5 points for me. MK Dons, a lot of people have them Port Vale top 2, so I'm glad I had them down in 3rd. But everyone, I expected him to go up as well. Like I say, Mike Williamson went to Carlisle, which were a bit of a strange transfer, and then Scott Lindsay came in, and it's just not worked, to be fair. Whatever's going on at the club, nothing seemed to be working. And then Paul Warren's come in for end of season, so it's going to be interesting what he does with the squad over the summer and going into next season, because for a big club for this league, and they'll be wanting to get back to League One as soon as possible. And as for Chesterfield, I thought teams who come up from the National League always seem to do well in League Two, and we had a very strong squad for National League, a good squad for League Two as well, I thought, and I thought they, strengthened it all right. I thought Paddy Madden would get goals in League Two, and, a few others, and, been a weird season for Chesterfield. We've been so up and down. I thought I was going to lose a lot of points on this one, to be fair, but we put a really good run together at the end of the season and just nicked a playoff spot on the final day, and unfortunately did lose in the playoffs to Walsall. But I think they'll be a decent team next year. They've got a great manager in Paul Cook, so it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on them. And then, of course, for the champions, I predicted my team at Doncaster Rovers, and of course we did it. Champions of League Two, so no points for me there. Yeah, it's been a fantastic season. I didn't think we'd win it up until literally like 3 games to go, I'll be honest with you. I'd have bit your hand off for 3rd place, and we've done it in the end. It's been a fantastic season. We've had a great squad. It's not been easy at times. It's been frustrating, but at the end of the season, we put a 4-game winning streak together where we just seemed to turn it on over Easter weekend and didn't look back since. And we ended the season with 4 wins in a row. And I couldn't be happy to be fair. Champions League 2, going to be playing League 1 football next season. I got the bottom team and the top team right, so pretty happy overall. Okay, so there is my full 1 to 24 table. So in total, I got 124 points, which, the problem is 3 stinkers let me down. Carlisle, MK Dons and Gillingham massively affected the scoring. Whereas others I didn't think were too bad, to be fair. You know, I got the winners and I got bottom place, which I'm pretty happy with. 3 bang on, I believe. Doncaster, Newport and Morecambe. Last season I got 138, so I've done 14 points better than last season. I really did have some stinkers last year, I'm not going to lie. So, like I say, 124 points. Let me know in the comments if you made some predictions at the start of the season. Use the same scoring system and let me know your final score. I want to see how everyone's done. Let me know in the comments what were your best prediction in League 2 and what was one you got absolutely horrible. I'm expecting a lot of MK Dons and Carlisle, to be fair, so yeah, let me know in the comments. So anyway, it's been fun, and I'm looking forward to the 25-26 season. Rovers won't be a part of it, but I will be keeping a close eye on League 2. So until the next video, I'm going to leave it here. So thank you very much for watching. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel and drop video a like with being old or new viewer. We are closing in on 2,000 subs, so if you haven't subbed already, please press the red button and let's aim for 30 likes on this video. And also please remember to follow my social media and Gittings PT on pretty much everything. So until the next video, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.